Imagine a battlefield where on one side stand the most powerful military forces in the world, the United States and Israel. They possess advanced fighter jets, missiles worth millions of dollars, and the most sophisticated air defense systems on the planet. Yet, astonishingly, facing this immense power is a weapon that costs less than an ordinary car. This small weapon has slowly begun to change the entire equation of warfare. Many military analysts now argue that it is precisely because of this drone that Iran has developed a war strategy that relies not on brute force, but on intelligence and economic pressure to put its opponents in a bind. Consider the arithmetic. You have a missile worth millions of dollars that is needed to intercept a drone worth only a few thousand. How drastically does that shift the calculus of war? This mystery revolves around Iran's unusual weapon, the Shahed 136 kamikaze drone, also known as a suicide drone. Yes, we are passing through an era where war, global politics, and economic crises are making the future uncertain for many, particularly regarding careers. But one thing to note is that the digital content sector remains relatively stable and is creating significant opportunities for the future. Although this drone may appear quite ordinary at first glance, not like a massive fighter jet or a terrifying missile, the reality is that this small device has silently begun to reshape the very concept of modern warfare. For a long time, the common belief was that the more advanced and expensive a weapon, the greater the power on the battlefield. But the Shahed 136 is turning that idea on its head. Let's do the math. America's famous Tomahawk cruise missile cost several $1 million. Russia's KH-101 cruise missile is also in the $1 million range. Even Iran's own Fatah 101 ballistic missile can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. In the midst of all this appears a weapon costing just a few $1,000s, sometimes less than a used ordinary car. That weapon is the Shahed 136 drone. This is where the true secret of its power begins. This drone is often called a kamikaze or suicide drone. In military terminology, it's known as a loitering munition. Unlike a standard missile that flies directly to a target, this one can circle in the air for a long time, searching for its objective, like a bird of prey hunting. Some targets are not always visible. They may appear only briefly before disappearing again. So this drone loiters above a potential target, waiting for the right moment. When that moment comes, it dives down, exploding and destroying the target, but sacrificing itself in the process. Another peculiar characteristic is its sound. When flying, its engine produces a noise reminiscent of a scooter, which is why it's sometimes called the flying scooter. It uses a small two-stroke engine, similar to a scooter's engine. This distinct sound often instills fear. When people hear it overhead, they know something is coming. The drone is about 3.5 meters long with a wingspan of roughly 3 meters. It weighs just 220 kilograms. At the front is an explosive warhead weighing between 30 to 50 kilograms. At the back is a propeller that pushes it forward. It's powered by a simple two-stroke gasoline engine, generating about 50 horsepower, allowing it to fly at speeds up to 200 kilometers per hour. It has no separate cooling system. The airflow during flight cools the engine. A tail fin provides stability, while flaps and elevons on the wings control its direction, operated by small servo motors. Inside the center is a small computer system that manages the entire flight. It has a GPS system for satellite positioning. If GPS is jammed, it uses an inertial navigation system with sensors to calculate speed and direction, keeping it on the correct path. In some cases, it can even detect radar signals. If it picks up a signal from an air defense radar, it can attack that source, effectively blinding the entire defense system. The drone is launched from a truck using a launch rail. Placed at an angle, A small rocket booster underneath ignites, propelling it swiftly into the air. Once the main engine starts, the booster detaches. The Shahed 136 has a range of approximately 2,000 kilometers. Its real power, however, lies in its use in swarms. Often they're not deployed alone. Dozens or even hundreds can be launched simultaneously, each selecting a different target. These drones typically fly at low altitudes, close to the ground, making them difficult for radar to detect until it's often too late. Technologically, it is possible to destroy them, but here lies the core problem: cost. A drone costing a few $1,000s is frequently intercepted using missiles that cost hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. For instance, the Tamir missile used in Israel's Iron Dome system is far more expensive than this drone. Using an American Patriot missile would be several times more costly. In simple terms, destroying a cheap drone often requires using a weapon many times its price. When facing swarms of hundreds, a defense system can become overwhelmed. This is why many military experts consider the Shahed 136 not just a drone, but a symbol of a new reality in modern warfare. A reality where a small, inexpensive drone challenges weapons worth millions. As you may have heard, the stockpiles of interceptor missiles in Israel and the US are reportedly depleting. While Iran can produce these drones quickly and in large numbers, manufacturing advanced interceptor missiles is far more time-consuming and expensive. So, where this battle ultimately leads and what the future holds is now largely a matter of speculation.